Blaring alarm sound. Frustrated sigh. Another night wasted. 3 hours of tossing and turning, and for what? Just to feel more exhausted than when I lay down. It's the same story, night after night. The alarm screams at 3 a.m., not because I set it, but because my body just gives up on trying to sleep. I stare at the ceiling, the dark, doing nothing to lull me back into any kind of rest. My mind races, replaying conversations, worrying about tomorrow and then worrying about why I'm not sleeping. It's a vicious cycle, a treadmill of mental exhaustion that never stops. Every morning feels like I've run a marathon instead of resting. My eyes burn, my head aches, and the thought of facing another day with this level of fatigue is just heavy. I push myself up, the sheets feeling like a tangled mess that held me captive rather than comforted me. The silence that follows the alarm is almost worse, a stark reminder of the hours I've lost. I swing my legs over the side of the bed, the cold floor a small shock to my system. I don't rush, there's no point. The day hasn't even properly begun, and I already feel like I'm running on empty. I take a deep, weary breath, the kind that doesn't quite fill your lungs, but just acknowledges the effort of breathing. It's a moment of quiet, almost resigned contemplation. The weight of chronic sleep deprivation is palpable, a heavy cloak I wear constantly. It's not just about feeling tired, it's about the constant battle with my own body, the feeling of being out of sync, unable to truly recharge. This feeling, this exhaustion that seeps into every part of my life, has become a constant companion. It influences my decisions, dulls my reactions, and sometimes makes me feel like I'm just going through the motions, the quiet tyranny of a restless night. For years I believed this was just my normal, that some people were just bad sleepers, and I was one of them. I tried everything. Warm milk, meditation apps, blackout curtains, counting sheep until I lost count of the sheep, and then just counted the minutes until dawn. Nothing worked, not really. The solutions always felt temporary, like putting a small band-aid on a gaping wound. I'd wake up hopeful, only to crash and burn by midday, fueled by caffeine and sheer willpower. I saw doctors, tried different supplements, even adjusted my diet. Each time I'd get a glimmer of hope, only for it to fade as the sleepless nights returned, mocking my efforts. It felt like I was forever chasing something just out of reach, something essential that everyone else seemed to have effortlessly. But what if the key to unlocking true, restorative sleep wasn't about more pills or complex routines, but about something far simpler, something you've overlooked in your own home? What if the answers were right under our noses, hidden in plain sight, waiting for us to just pay attention to the environment we create for ourselves every night? I used to think sleep was a battle waged entirely within my head, a mental game I was constantly losing. But I was wrong. The battleground was broader, and the most crucial elements were external, tangible, and surprisingly easy to control once I knew what to look for. Before we continue and dive into how I finally cracked the code to consistent deep sleep, make sure you hit that subscribe button to join our community, and tell us where you're watching from in the comments below. I'm curious to see how far this message reaches. Your engagement helps us bring more valuable content to you. My struggle with sleep wasn't some sudden onset thing. It was a slow, creeping exhaustion that built up over years. I remember it starting subtly, just a few nights here and there where I couldn't quite switch off. Then it became more frequent, until tossing and turning was my nightly routine. My days became a blur of trying to function on fumes. Waking up groggy was the norm. The first thing I'd do wasn't stretch or plan my day. It was stumble to the coffee machine, praying the caffeine would kick in fast enough to make me feel human. Work was a constant uphill battle. I'd sit at my desk, staring at the screen, my brain feeling like it was wrapped in cotton wool. Focus was a luxury I couldn't afford. Simple tasks took 3 times as long, and I'd often find myself rereading emails multiple times, still not quite grasping their meaning. Meetings were torture. I'd fight to keep my eyes open, nodding along, hoping no one would ask me a direct question that required a coherent thought. My productivity plummeted, and I knew it, which only added to the stress. The impact wasn't just on my work. My mood became erratic. I was constantly on edge, snapping at loved ones over trivial things. A misplaced remote, a slightly late dinner, a simple question. Everything felt like an attack, and I'd react with irritation and anger, only to regret it moments later. My relationships suffered because I was too tired to be patient, too exhausted to be empathetic. I'd cancel plans with friends, preferring to just collapse on the couch, too drained for any social interaction. The thought of bedtime, which should have been a relief, became a source of dread. I'd lie there, my mind racing, replaying the day's mistakes, worrying about tomorrow's challenges, all while the clock ticked mercilessly towards another dawn. I remember one particularly bad morning. I had a big presentation at work, something I'd prepared for weeks. I got maybe 2 hours of broken sleep. I woke up feeling like I'd been hit by a truck. In my haze, I forgot my laptop charger, which meant I had to scramble to borrow one just minutes before my presentation. During the presentation itself, my mind went blank at one point, and I just stood there, stammering, feeling my face flush. It was humiliating. Another time I was driving home completely spaced out and almost missed a red light. That moment scared me, making me realize how dangerous this level of fatigue truly was. These small, consistent issues chipped away at my well-being. Each forgotten task, every harsh word spoken, every mistake at work, they all accumulated. I started feeling helpless. Like I was losing control of my life. The anxiety about bedtime grew into a real fear. I'd try to relax. I'd try to empty my mind, but the harder I tried, the more elusive sleep seemed. It felt like a cruel joke, this essential human need that was just out of my grasp. I began to believe that good sleep was simply unattainable for me, that I was destined to live life perpetually exhausted, forever trapped in this cycle of sleepless nights and zombie-like days. The vibrant, energetic person I once was felt like a distant memory, replaced by a shadow of myself, constantly weary and overwhelmed. The turning point came after that near miss with the red light. The sheer terror of almost causing an accident, all because I was too tired to process basic road signs, was a wake-up call. It was a cold, hard slap to the face, making me realize this wasn't just about feeling a bit tired anymore. It was dangerous. I pictured what could have happened, the lives that could have been affected, and a switch flipped inside me. I couldn't keep living like this. That night, instead of dreading bedtime, I spent hours online, not looking for quick fixes or magic pills, but for actual, scientific reasons behind good sleep. I devoured articles, watched documentaries, and read studies. It was overwhelming at first, a rabbit hole of information, but one recurring theme kept popping up: the environment. It wasn't just about what I did in bed, it was about the room itself. That's when I stumbled upon the 3 perfect settings for deep sleep mastery. It sounded almost too simple, but after everything else had failed, I was desperate enough to try anything. These settings weren't some secret ancient technique. They were about light, temperature, and sound. I decided to tackle them one by one, methodically, like a science experiment in my own bedroom. First, light. I learned that even the smallest sliver of light can disrupt melatonin production. My room wasn't pitch black. There was a tiny LED from my alarm clock, a faint glow from a street lamp outside, and light seeping in from under the door. I bought blackout curtains, the thickest ones I could find, and covered every little light source with electrical tape. I even stopped looking at my phone an hour before bed. The first few nights were strange. The darkness felt absolute, almost heavy. But then I started noticing a difference. I wasn't waking up at 3 a.m. with my eyes wide open, trying to decipher shapes in the dim light. My brain seemed to understand it was truly night. Next was temperature. I always thought a warm, cozy room was best, but apparently the ideal sleep temperature is cooler, around 67 degrees Fahrenheit. I cranked down the thermostat, which felt a bit weird at first, especially in winter. I invested in breathable sheets and adjusted my pajamas. The change wasn't immediate, but after about a week I noticed I wasn't tossing and turning to find a cool spot anymore. My body felt more relaxed, less agitated. I was falling asleep faster and staying asleep for longer stretches. Finally, sound. My street wasn't particularly noisy, but there were always those small, sudden sounds. A car driving by, a neighbor's dog barking, the creaks and groans of an old house. I tried earplugs, but they were uncomfortable. Then I discovered white noise. I downloaded an app and set it to a gentle, consistent fan sound. It didn't block out all noise, but it masked the sudden, jarring ones, creating a consistent, soothing backdrop. It was like a soft blanket for my ears, allowing my brain to finally fully disengage. Implementing these changes wasn't an overnight miracle. It took consistency and patience, but gradually, profoundly, my sleep transformed. I started waking up before my alarm, feeling genuinely rested. The grogginess was gone. I no longer needed to chug coffee just to function. My energy levels soared, and with that came a noticeable improvement in my mood. I was less irritable, more patient with my loved ones, and my focus at work returned. Tasks that once felt impossible now seemed manageable. The constant anxiety about bedtime vanished, replaced by a quiet anticipation of true rest. My life, which had felt like it was spiraling out of control, slowly but surely came back into focus. I realized then that true rest isn't a luxury. It's the foundation of a life well lived.